2024 is right around the corner, and with that I'm starting a new series where I'm going to break down my 10 most anticipated movies from each movie studio. So starting off this series today is Warner Brothers. So let's get into my top 10 most anticipated movies coming from Warner Brothers in 2024. Starting us off in 10th place is Mickey 17. This movie stars Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, along with a lot of other big named actors and actresses, and the big pulling point here is that it's directed by Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, and the story is basically about Robert Pattinson in space, and I'm pretty sure he tries to colonize a planet, and I don't know really what happens after that. We haven't really been given much detail, but I think it is based off of a book or a novel, so if you've read that you might know more, but for me it just looks epic, and this releases on March 29th in 2024. So coming in at 9th place is Beetlejuice 2, which stars Michael Keaton and Jenna Ortega along with Winona Ryder. That's a great trio of a lead cast, isn't it? And this movie deserves a sequel. It's been many years since the first one came out, and I think this is going to be a beloved release, and this releases on September 6th in 24. In 8th place is Challengers. Now this was meant to come out in 2023, but it got delayed due to the strike, so it's not coming out until 2024, April 26th to be exact, but it stars Zendaya, and she is basically like a tennis coach who coaches her husband to play in a pro kind of final against her ex-boyfriend. As far as I'm aware, that is what the story is about. It looks fun. It's a sports movie. It looks really, really good, and I can't wait to see it. In 7th place is Horizon, an American Saga. Now this is split into 2 parts, and the reason why I'm really excited for this is because of that. So the first chapter releases on June 28th, and the second chapter releases on August 16th. It stars Kevin Costner, and it is a Western movie. Now I like how this is a 2-parter that is split across 2 months, so you don't really have to wait long, but the story gets time to breathe, and it's not going to be a rushed movie. So really excited for this 2-parter, and I don't really know much more about it other than Sam Worthington is in it as well, and this movie, these 2 chapters, look really promising. Coming in at number 6 is Twisters. I was a massive fan of the Twister movie from the early 90s, or maybe it was the late 90s. What a movie that was. Every time it comes on, I still watch it and I feel the same way as I did the first time that I seen it, which is kind of terrified. This movie is epic. It's a badass movie, and it stars Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, and David Corenswet. So yeah, that's a pretty stacked cast, and I'm really excited to see it. Warner Brothers, as far as I know, is collabing with Universal for this, so it's going to be a dual release. So yeah, if you were a fan of the first movie, this is definitely going to give you those nostalgic feels. It releases on July 19th. Now, number 5 is The Watchers. It's Shyamalan Shyamalan's directorial debut. It stars Dakota Fanning, and what I really love about this is that it's set in Ireland. It's set in the west of Ireland, Galway, I think, in a mystical, well, not mystical, just a very lovely forest, where Dakota Fanning's character obviously goes into the forest. I think she breaks down once she explores the forest. She gets trapped in a concrete bunker with 3 other strangers, and as night falls, some creatures roam around the forest. Now that sounds really good to me. This is out June 7th, 2024, and I will definitely be seated to see Ireland in all its glory, as well as a really cool horror movie that's set in our country. Number 4 is Furiosa, starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, and directed by George Miller. It is set in the Mad Max universe, and it's all about Furiosa's character, who was Charlize Theron from Mad Max Fury Road, and it's her as a younger version of herself, and I just cannot wait to see it. We haven't really got much more information about it, but I heard that there's more info coming very soon, but this releases on May 24th. Now my top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Joker Folie à Deux, which basically is Madness for 2 in English, and this stars Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. It's called a musical thriller. That's what it's being described as, so let's see. That's very interesting. Maybe it's all about madness in the mind, but Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, let's go. Joker 1 was just an absolute masterpiece, so this has high levels to live up to, but it releases on October 4th in 2024, and I will be there on opening night to see what unfolds. Now, my top 2. This might obviously switch for some people, but in second place is Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire. I'm a massive fan of the Monsterverse. I'm currently watching Monarch: Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV Plus right now, and I'm loving it, and I personally can't wait to see this next entry into the Monsterverse saga and franchise. And it's going to be Godzilla, Kong against a new orangutan villain who is also a titan, and it looks really good. I hope we get a new trailer soon. As I'm actually recording this, I'm pretty sure there's a new trailer dropping within the next few weeks. Maybe when Monarch ends on Apple TV Plus, we'll get a tease as to the next movie, but I can't wait for this. I'm a big fan of these movies. You might not be, but I am, and it's definitely my second most anticipated Warner Brothers movie of 2024. Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire releases on the 12th of April next year. But in saying that, you can probably guess what number one is, because it's the only one I haven't mentioned. It's Dune 2, and I'm just absolutely so excited for this movie. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, the whole rest of that cast. Like, I could literally name 12 more top tier actors and actresses in that movie. Now, I'm pretty sure as I'm sitting here recording this, Dune Part 2 was literally meant to release, and it's not, because it's been pushed back to March 1st. I was a fan of Part 1, but I actually didn't see it in IMAX, and I think that really lowered my score. Part 2 looks insane. I can't wait to see this movie. I think it's going to win a lot of awards. People are going to really fall in love with it, and I can't wait to do a back-to-back of Part 1 and Part 2. But yeah, they are my top 10 most anticipated Warner Brothers releases for 2024. I've probably missed some, and maybe you think that my list is terrible, but these are just my preferences. So in saying that, drop your comments down below on what your most anticipated Warner Bros. Movies are for next year. Let's get a conversation going. I'm really excited to see everyone's preferences, but I think Dune Part 2 is definitely going to be one of everyone's most anticipated for sure. So make sure you drop me a follow if you liked this video, so that you can see all of the rest of this series that I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. And thanks for tuning in.